The Nets are trapped. The Nets are freaking out. They've got KD and Kyrie, and according to his story, they don't want to alienate KD by not signing Kyrie, but they don't want to sign Kyrie because he's just not available for enough games, and he could literally sign a contract and retire, and he's talked about that in the last 4 or 5 years of not wanting to play basketball forever. Yikes. So the Brooklyn Nets are really, really in a bad space. And it also feels like they don't have their priorities in order. I don't think winning, in fact, I don't think basketball is the number one priority to Kyrie Irving. I've said this for years. People get offended too often by words. I watch actions. Like, I'm watching Kyrie Irving's actions. He wouldn't get vaxxed. He knew it would force him to miss half the games. So you are not committed to winning. Lots of people got vaxxed that didn't want to, if they wanted to show up to work or fly an airplane. Right? You made that decision. So winning's not a priority. Also, you were the loudest player during the bubble to want to cancel the season. So you have leaned into twice moving off playing basketball. Both times, you're like, I'm shutting it down. I have nothing against players pursuing social causes. But LeBron in the bubble, and he's got social causes he cares about. He created a school. LeBron's like, no, we got to play basketball. That's what we're paid for. That's our job. Okay, that's where you get into a space where I'm not down with it. I'm paying you $25, $30 million a year. The job has to be a priority over causes because LeBron has shown you can do both. We've seen that with all sorts of athletes, Olympic athletes, tennis athletes. They're into causes, but they also understand there's a responsibility to be an employee. And Kyrie, he'll shut it down. And so... and that's what his resume. I got 2 examples now. So the other thing, I just don't think Brooklyn checks boxes. I do not believe KD and Kyrie and Simmons will ever win a championship. I think it's fantasy land. It'll never happen. There's enigmatic injuries. Forget it. But if you look at the Rams or the Kansas City Chiefs or the Miami Heat, the Golden State Warriors, the Spurs in their prime, or the Patriots in theirs when Brady was still there, there's 3 things they had. First of all, there was always one mission and everybody got it. The mission was winning, and you did whatever it took to win games. Winning was number one. Again, with Kyrie, it's not. Second thing is there's an alignment between players and management, right? They get along. We understand what we're both trying to do here. And the third thing is there's a realistic understanding of not everybody can make the most money. There's a salary cap. The Ram players know it. The Warrior players know it, although Warriors now all get paid. But there's an alignment, there's a belief, there's a mission, and I don't think Brooklyn checks any of those boxes. I think it's fear-based and panic, and what happens historically is when you have organizations like the Cleveland Browns that are fear-based and they're backed into a corner, they overspend and overreach. So my hunch is they're just going to pay Kyrie whatever he wants. And this, by the way, this organization is run by a very smart guy named Sean Marks. He's from the Popovich San Antonio system. But what he's finding out is it's much easier to build a coalition with Tim Duncan than it is with Kyrie Irving. Because if you look at Kyrie's history, this is what I do not get about a sports executives. Go look at the resumes. Kyrie Irving has worked briefly when he has a stabilizing force leading him. Coach K at Duke worked briefly. LeBron in Cleveland worked briefly. Well, KD doesn't want to be that. KD wants to hoop with his friend. Kevin Durant has told you, it's not what I'm about here. I want to go play basketball with my friend. And so to me, this doesn't work. And even when Kyrie has worked, he's worked briefly. Briefly. Then he bailed on LeBron. Didn't play many games for Duke. So this is not going to work. It's never going to work over a season, over a playoff run. I think they are missing so many things that equal championship basketball: coaching and chemistry and bench and alignment and defense. They're just not even close on like 7 different boxes, and we all fall in love with this fantasy land. I said yesterday, it's the vacation you never go to and talk about. Winning in the playoffs for Brooklyn, they talk about it all the time. It's fantasy land. It's never going to happen. Ben Simmons, question mark. Kyrie misses too many games, won't defend. Kevin Durant, he's older. He gets hurt. So I think what you're going to have, Chris Mannix talked about this earlier this week in our show, is I think Kyrie right now A lot of stuff's getting out there. Kyrie's leaking it because he's trying to manipulate the Nets, create fear and panic, and I think it's going to work. So there's a sense here that Kyrie is manipulating the Nets. But who is the most calculated player in the league, the best player the last 15 years in the league, the most measured player, the richest player, the most powerful player, the player with the most leverage? It's been LeBron James. And LeBron James is still great. He may not be playing 82 games. When he's on the floor in any NBA game, he is usually the best player. He still remains fantastic. Had he played 2 more games, he would have won the NBA scoring title. He is still a great distributor. He can be a great defender. We've seen him in spaces. So I just want to throw this to you. Smart guy, calculated guy. Kevin Durant, with the right team, could still win multiple finals. He could go back to Golden State. You could put him on Milwaukee, put him up with Luka. Don't kid yourself. And it wasn't that long ago that a lot of you out there were arguing as Kevin Durant was winning the MVP in the finals. A lot of you were arguing, and LeBron hears it. KD's better than LeBron. KD screwed it up. Had he stayed with Golden State, won 2 more finals, half this country, forget the MJ-LeBron debate, would be on the KD's better than LeBron debate. KD's not done. He is still often the best player on the floor in 99% of the games he plays. He could win 3 or 4 more titles. LeBron's only got 4. He's already got 2. LeBron knows that. LeBron's thinking, keep my eye on KD and my legacy. Then there's Kyrie, who bailed on LeBron. LeBron doesn't have any love lost with Kyrie. That hurt, right? That's one guy guys don't bail on LeBron. LeBron's always bailed on guys. Nobody bails on LeBron. You can't tell me in that reservoir of his emotions, LeBron's not thinking, I owe you one, Kyrie. So the most calculated player in the league, my guess is LeBron knows basketball. And he knows that KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons is not championship material. 2 of those guys aren't even serious about winning basketball or playing basketball, Kyrie and Simmons. LeBron practiced, played, traveled with Kyrie. He knows basketball is not a priority. So is LeBron thinking to himself, I'm going to flirt with Kyrie. I'm going to talk to Kyrie. I'm going to make sure those Kyrie Lakers stories get out, which, by the way, they're out today. Lakers are the number 1 destination potentially for Kyrie Irving. They're out today. And LeBron knows that Brooklyn will freak panic, sign a long, massive deal to Kyrie, and that's who KD is stuck with. KD's stuck with Kyrie. Basketball's not a priority. And Ben Simmons, good. I don't even know what a priority is. I've given up. He shouldn't have a number. He should just, like a Riddler, have a question mark. I don't know what he is. Listen, don't kid yourself. Had KD stayed in Golden State, he'd have 4 titles, maybe 5. You would be arguing. I never did. You did. KD's better than LeBron. You know confirmation bias, recency bias. I think LeBron looks at this thing and says, flirting with Kyrie, I know what Brooklyn will do. They'll sign Kyrie to a long check. Because LeBron, I think, thinks like I think. He'll say it publicly. Oh, it's a great team. Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and Simmons, all your money in 3 players, no bench, can't depend on guys. Is Steve Nash the right coach? He certainly got worked by Ime Udoka in the playoffs. You really think LeBron's rooting for KD to win 3 more titles? Rooting for Kyrie to have success? I don't buy that. LeBron is going to play for several more years, and I think deep down he is smart enough in basketball to know what wins championships. Defense, coaching, commitment, availability, somewhat of a bench, all the things we just saw with the Warriors. And most of those we just saw with the Celtics. And all of them we saw the year before with the Bucks. You're not getting that with KD and Kyrie and Simmons. It's a circus. I'm just saying, LeBron, it's still burning. He's still great. I think he likes all that Lakers, Kyrie talk out there. Remember, stuff gets out, as we always say, when people want it out. Kyrie to the Lakers is now out. Interesting.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.